Hi, and welcome to Mercer Botanic Gardens. I'm Jamie, and I coordinate Mercer's volunteers.
And I'm Christy. I work with volunteers in educational programming. Thank you to Wild Birds Unlimited Kingwood and to Susie and John for inviting us out to visit with you, our fellow bird lovers.
Today we're presenting a program featuring plants that birds use for a food source, as well as roosting and nesting. Of course, there are thousands of plants available, but today we'll highlight a few that work well in a typical Houston area landscape.
So we can utilize plants from the many ecological systems available to us: piney woods, bayou wilderness, prairies, coastal marshes, post oak savannas, estuaries and bays, and more. The varieties of habitat are also attractive to an assortment of birds that have access to our home gardens, and birders from all over the world come to our area during spring and fall migrations. For this discussion, we will cover plants and birds that can be found at Mercer and most other neighborhoods in our area. In this presentation, we will include why to create a bird habitat, habitat requirements, attractive plants, winged garden visitors, and putting it all together. So why create a bird habitat in your garden? Providing bird habitats in our landscapes is a win-win for all because habitats provide a setting for birding and other wildlife viewing opportunities. They bring an organic gardening solution to your yard. They reduce the needs for fertilizer, water, and pesticides, as well as other benefits for you, which we'll get to later. What plants attract birds to a particular habitat? What do birds need? Most important, food, water, shelter, and space. Birds need to roost, nest, feed, and hide. Their food includes berries, nuts, insects, nectar, and seeds, so it's best to use plants that bloom at different times of the year. Birds also need a supply of fresh water for drinking and bathing. In the garden photo, notice the layers of plants. Layers deep and layers high. A healthy bird habitat provides multiple layers of vegetation: a tall canopy layer, an understory layer, a shrub layer, ground cover, and even a variety of garden floors. Multiple layers provide plenty of space for shelter from predators and the weather, nesting sites, and feeding areas. The loblolly pine is a common area tree. It has a canopy cover which provides shelter and nesting sites for birds of all sizes, as well as a food source: seeds in the pine cones, sap, and a habitat for insects. The sweet gum tree is another native canopy tree that can grow up to 100 feet tall. Birds like chickadees, finches, and more love to feast on the seeds and the gumballs. Sapsuckers and other birds are attracted to the sweet gum for its sweet sap. Horizontal rows of dark spots on this tree turn into sap wells, which provide food. Hummingbirds and insects drink the nectar when the tree is flowering in the spring. Their fall foliage produces stunning yellows and reds, so this is a popular tree for those who love brilliant fall color. However, many homeowners do not like the prickly sweet gum balls that fall to the ground, nor have the room in their yards for a tree of this large size. For those people, there is a newer variety of sweet gum that you may not know about. This newer variety of sweet gum is called the slender silhouette, which has a lovely narrow growth pattern and is perfect as an accent tree in a smaller landscape while providing the same benefits to birds as its larger cousin. This red mulberry tree offers tasty berries in the spring, which are a favorite of many of the more colorful migrants, such as warblers and tanagers. The dark canopy and sturdy structure of the magnolia tree is a perfect nesting site for the screech owl and other larger birds. The eastern redbud is a popular understory tree that can grow up to 30 feet tall. The sweet nectar of the spring flowers attract hummingbirds and insects. It's also a great nesting and perching site for small to medium-sized birds. The parsley hawthorn is an understory tree that has thorny branches and foliage that resembles parsley. Its spring flowers attract butterflies and bees, and the fruits will attract fruit-eating birds like cedar waxwings who love the hawthorn berries. Songbirds such as cardinals will use the tree for nesting and shelter. The weeping Yupon holly, known for its downward growing branches, is another understory tree that offers evergreen color and bright red berries. If you have one of these lovely trees in your garden, you probably have seen mockingbirds, chickadees, wrens, and more. The berries and seeds of the smooth sumac, another understory tree, are consumed by many types of birds as well as small mammals. In addition, the seed pods are often used in large decorative flower arrangements. Now on to the next layer, shrubs. The Turk's cap is a native shrub and one of my favorite. It grows as tall as it grows wide, from 3 to 6 feet. The flowers start appearing in May and continue on through November. It likes shade or partial shade, but it can grow in the sun too, but it may cause the leaves to pucker or turn dark if it's too sunny. It's drought tolerant, and its fruit can be eaten by fruit-eating mammals. Many migrating fall hummingbirds prefer this flower to hummingbird feeders. Next, we have Friendship Salvia, an easy-to-grow shrub if you have a sunny spot to fill. It attracts hummingbirds, thrushes, and is also a popular plant for container gardening. This is American beautyberry, a commonly seen plant in East Texas forests. It grows best in partial shade and can reach a height of 5 to 8 feet tall. It's an important source of food for many species of birds, particularly the northern bobwhite quail, but also attracts cardinals, robins, finches, and even small mammals. The next garden habitat layer is groundcover. Groundcover is a great way to increase the biodiversity of insects, lizards, and frogs in your garden, as it is a low-growing layer that provides insulation to the soil. Groundcover keeps the soil cooler in the summertime and helps it retain moisture longer, saving you money on your water bill. Although there are dozens of varieties of lantana available, Texas lantana is the best for birds that live and migrate in our area. As a matter of fact, birds are the major dispersal agents for Texas lantana seeds, so by planting this in your garden, you increase the chances that it spreads throughout our state. Hummingbirds and insect-loving birds also benefit from Texas lantana, and as a bonus, it also does well in containers. Here we see the giant coneflower, another native plant that is important to local and migrating birds. It's a sun-loving flower that grows up to 7 feet tall. It attracts migrating birds like summer tanager and hummingbirds that eat insects attracted to the blooms, as well as blue jays, cardinals, goldfinches, and other seed-loving birds. It's important not to cut the spent bloom off so it dries into a seed source for the spring. Giant coneflower blooms make for a beautiful flower arrangement, and you can prune them to the ground in the spring and the plants will flush out beautifully. If you don't have room for the giant coneflower, why not try the smaller purple coneflower that only grows to about 2 to 3 feet in height. It also attracts blue jays, cardinals, summer tanagers, hummingbirds, finches, and more. Again, let the spent flowers stay to provide the late winter, early spring seed source. At Mercer Botanic Gardens, you can see purple coneflower near the front of our herb garden. This was filmed just a few days ago, and you can see the lovely new spring blooms alongside last year's blooms that are now seed heads that look to be almost completely devoured. The final layer is one that is often overlooked. It's the garden floor. Berries, seeds, insects, worms, and more can be easily foraged here. It's best to offer various options in your garden: pine straw, stones, mulch, and soil to attract the widest variety of visitors. Mercer Botanic Gardens has over 400 acres along Cypress Creek and is a terrific place to view birds year-round. Here we see one of our winged garden visitors, a warbler. A popular year-round resident is the northern cardinal, shown here hunting for insects, drop seeds, and berries. River birch trees are a common native tree found throughout the area. They grow well in a variety of soil and moisture conditions, but grow taller up to 70 feet in wetter areas. Here is a small flock of goldfinch dining on its seeds. Eastern bluebirds can be seen scanning for prey in local meadows surrounded by trees. We have about a dozen bluebird nesting boxes along our 5+ miles of trails here at Mercer, so you are bound to see one when you come out for a visit. Woodpeckers love mature canopy trees such as oaks, sweet gum, pine, and others, but will visit lower-level understory as well. Here is a red-bellied woodpecker searching for insects. Just look at this determined ruby-throated hummingbird dining on a Friendship Salvia shrub. Friendship Salvia is one of their favorite flowers here at Mercer and is a flower that blooms from mid-April till mid-November, so it's a perfect plant if you'd like to host these entertaining visitors during both the spring and fall migrations. Now let's put it all together. Birding and gardening not only support valued habitats, but also gets us moving, tones our muscles, sharpens our minds, leaves us energized and joyful while helping alleviate stress and anxiety, and being in the sun produces vitamin D, which is good for your bones. That's why birding and gardening is good for your health. Ready to get started? It's time to plan. What types of plants will you choose to attract birds to your home garden? Remember to add purposeful plants in all 5 layers: canopy, understory, shrubs, ground cover, and floor. Now, let me show you 2 sample gardens that you can see at Mercer. One is for those with larger landscapes. The other is more compact and perfect if you live in a smaller yard or townhome. See if you can find samples of the 5 vegetation layers in each video. We hope this presentation has given you some new information about attracting birds to your garden. If you'd like to join Wild Birds Unlimited's own Paul, Greg, and I for our monthly bird survey, we meet here at Mercer on the 4th Thursday of each month. We also have a virtual plant sale this weekend, Hawk Talk program on June the 20th, and a Birding 101 class in September. Like us on Facebook or check our website for more details.
If you haven't been to Mercer before, you're in for a botanical treat. Mercer also has a variety of volunteer opportunities, ranging from one-day special events and festivals to monthly plant sales during the year. You'll find volunteers in our indoor herbarium or outside in our potting sheds, greenhouses, and gardens, and there's no experience required. To see a full listing of Mercer's volunteer opportunities, visit the Volunteer Houston website at volunteerhou.org. You can also call Mercer directly at 713-274-4160 for more information.
Thanks for watching, and thank you again to Wild Birds Unlimited Kingwood for inviting us out today. We hope to see you and your family soon at Mercer Botanic Gardens.